Hi, I am Austin Hylian. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I enjoy playing games, mainly Nintendo, but I'll play pretty much anything. I am huge into Zelda, if you couldn't tell by my channel name and my back wall over there. It is my favorite video game franchise of all time, so I thought it would be fitting for my first upload to be my top 10 favorite Zelda games of all time. So I will get right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Coming in at number 10 is Hyrule Warriors. I was a huge Warriors fan growing up, specifically Dynasty Warriors 3. My friends and I played that quite a bit, so when I heard that they were doing a Zelda version of it, I was extremely excited, and I was not disappointed. I think the gameplay is great. They implemented the Zelda themes into it very well. I really like the character designs, specifically Zelda. That might be my favorite iteration of her. The story isn't exactly the greatest. It's the gameplay that truly shines, and the character redesigns, not just Zelda and Link, but all of them. Ganondorf looks extremely cool in this game. And because the story isn't the best, and the gameplay can get repetitive after a while, that's why it's in my number 10 spot. By no means is it a bad game, but there's just better Zelda games out there. Coming in at number 9 is the original Zelda on the NES. I absolutely love this game. It is the first Zelda game I have ever played, but it has not exactly aged the best. It can be extremely cryptic, and if you don't really know what you're doing, it can be frustrating. You can get lost, but just based on, nostalgia and it being the first Zelda game I ever played, I still love it. It does have its problems, but without it, we would not have one of the greatest video game franchises of all time. It is extremely influential, even though it is flawed, and that's why it's a little lower on my list. Coming in at number 8 is Skyward Sword. Now, it is low on my list, not because it's a bad game. It's not. The motion controls, I might be in the minority. It does not bother me at all. I love the music. I love the art style. I love the story. But why it's lower on this list is the other games are just that much better, in my opinion. I feel like this game is overhated. Unfortunately, I was not able to finish it back in the day because I ran into a game-breaking bug, but I am currently replaying it and trying to get to the end, and I am having a very good time. I don't understand the hate. It's not terrible. If you don't like motion controls, I do not recommend this, because that's the main way. That's like the main gimmick is motion controls. But overall, I really enjoy it. I am planning on finishing it. I do know the end, and I do know most things about it because I've seen a lot of playthroughs of it because I was unable to finish it at the time. And I got upset and didn't want to finish it or start over. So yeah, Skyward Sword is great, besides the game-breaking bug, which I'm assuming they fixed in the Switch version. I have yet to play the Switch version fully through either. But yeah, Skyward Sword is number 8. Coming in at number 7 is A Link Between Worlds. When it first came out, I absolutely loved it. I still love it now, but going back to it a decade later, it's a little too easy. But I love the concept of turning it into a painting and solving puzzles. The puzzles are a lot of fun. The dungeons are very reminiscent of A Link to the Past because it is a spiritual sequel, pretty much. I love Lorule. I think it's a really cool place to explore. Obviously, it's supposed to be like the Dark World and A Link to the Past. I really enjoyed it, but it's a little too easy compared to other Zelda games, so that's why it's a little lower on my list, but it's still a really good time, and it is such a fun 2D Zelda game. Coming in at number 6 is Wind Waker. When it first came out on GameCube, I absolutely loved it. I didn't get to finish it, but I thought it was a gorgeous game. I loved sailing the seas. It felt free. You could go wherever you wanted, it felt like. But going back to it, there's some things about it that kind of bog it down a bit. It still is a fantastic looking game because it's cel shaded and it's ageless. And I know the HD version fixed some things like the Triforce shards and things like that, but I still find it to be kind of a chore when it gets to that point. But it does have one of my favorite final battles with Ganondorf in any of the games. And it does have a really good story and memorable dungeons. But the two things that really bog it down for me, the Triforce shards and the Wind Temple with Makar, those were points in the game where it felt just like a slog to get through. But I love the music. It's a gorgeous game, and so I love Toon Link. I think he has a really cool design, but overall, I do love Wind Waker. It does have its flaws that are more apparent once the years pass, but it's still a really fun 3D Zelda game. Number 5 is A Link to the Past. This is the Game Boy Advance version. I do have the Super Nintendo version on the wall. I didn't grow up with this game. I didn't play it until I was in high school, so well over a decade ago. I just recently got to finish it, and I have to say, this game is incredible. It has aged extremely well. Like most Super Nintendo games, it gets you right into it. The music, which is incredible, which, you know, they've used in subsequent games because it's just that good. Graphically, it holds up. Gameplay wise, it's perfect. It's the only weird thing is Link has pink hair, which I don't think they ever addressed, and it's perfection. It is such a great game, and I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 4 is Breath of the Wild. I will admit, when it first came out, I was a little disappointed. I was so used to traditional 3D Zelda games, and you know, like the dungeons and stuff. There is a lack of dungeons in this, and I was kind of disappointed. There was plenty of shrines to do, and I felt like the beasts were a little too similar, and they were way too easy. And I thought the bosses at the time were kind of lazy because they were just different versions of Ganon. But coming back to it years later, in hype for Tears of the Kingdom before that came out, I changed my tune. I absolutely love it. I think it's really cool that you wake up like 100 years later and you have a clear goal. You see that Zelda needs your help, and that's what you got to do. You got to cleanse the 4 sacred beasts. You learn the tragedies of the champions, and it is just such a cool feeling. Like, it's just epic. It's I don't want to say the story is super simple, but it's simpler than other Zelda games. It's to the point. You know exactly what you need to do, and it is so cool. You're not like super strong either. Like, these enemies will mess you up, like the Lionels. So you're vulnerable as well. It is such a good time. I am glad that I have changed my tune on it because it is such a incredible game. And if you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend it. It's pretty much perfect. Coming in at number 3 is Link's Awakening. This is the Switch version. I recently played through the Game Boy version as well. This is another game that I never got to grow up with. But going to it for the first time, I absolutely love it. It has one of the saddest video game endings for me. But all the Mario references, is just the story and just the gameplay. It's great. It's such a fun time. And the fact that this game was able to fit on the original Game Boy, because it's a beefy game. It's a full-fledged Zelda game on, you know, at the time, a little gray cartridge. It's incredible that what they were able to do, and it is so fun. And it's charming, and it's probably my favorite 2D Zelda game. And I do absolutely love A Link to the Past, but there's just something about this game. It was fun. Not saying A Link to the Past isn't fun, but this is just, I had a smile on my face the entire time playing it. It is extremely creative, and it's so good. Coming in at number 2 is Twilight Princess. Now, this is a game that I only got to play for a couple hours when it first came out. My friend at the time let me borrow it, but he needed it back within like 3 days because his mom didn't know that he let his friend borrow a brand new game, and she was not very happy about it. So I only got to Death Mountain back in the day before I had to give it back. I decided to pick it up a couple of years ago on Wii just to get through it because I'm like, oh, this is a game that I have yet to play through, and I absolutely loved it. I feel like finally nowadays people are getting on board with it and are like, wow, this is very underrated. It is such a great game. I think the going between Twilight and, regular Hyrule, it's so much fun. One of the criticisms of it is it takes too long to get started. I disagree. I think it is paced very well. You get to know the village you're in, the villagers, so you get you have a connection with them. I absolutely love it. The story is fantastic, and Midna is the best companion, probably one of the best Zelda characters of all time, and she changes her tune. Right when you first meet her, she doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about the light world. She's very selfish, but the more you progress, the more she cares about you. And I don't want to give away the ending, but I did cry. It is such a just heartbreaking ending. It's one of the best. Honestly, it's probably my favorite Ganondorf final battle. It is so cool. I won't spoil too much about it, but let's just say you go 1v1 with him. Like, it is so cool. I wish I would have gotten to this game sooner. I love this game so much that I picked up the HD version, and it's very expensive, unfortunately. It's my favorite version. I never played the GameCube version because that is extremely expensive. And I also happened to get it sealed. This game is like, it's so good. I'm glad that it's finally getting the love it deserves. I highly recommend this. The Wii version at the time of this video is roughly like 20-ish bucks. The motion controls aren't super implemented in it, but it's still a very great game. Obviously, the GameCube and the Wii U versions are very expensive, and if you don't have a whole lot of money, the Twilight Princess on Wii is still a great game. It's still a great way to experience the game. I still highly recommend it. You will not be disappointed. Coming in at number 1, and it's a little cliche, but Ocarina of Time. Not only is it my favorite Zelda game of all time, it's my favorite game of all time. It just blew my mind back then, and there's just something about it. Graphically, it's very impressive even to this day. The music, the atmosphere, it's just, there hasn't been a game that has quite captured me like this. This came out when I was 4. I didn't play it until a couple years later, but there's just the adventure, the story, the characters, the temple, some of the best temples in the game, or in the series, like Forest Temple, and it's such a good game. I don't want to drone on about it because this game's been out since 1998, and there's not much more to be said. It's a masterpiece. I highly recommend this game if you have yet to play it. Even nowadays, I'll watch YouTube videos of people playing it for the first time, and it's one of those games. Like, it's one of the greatest of all time. And if you don't have a Nintendo 64, I recommend the 3DS version. graphically it's different, and there are some quality of life changes that I do think newer gamers would appreciate. It's not my favorite version. I still prefer the original Nintendo 64 version, but this is less expensive and it's easier to get your hands on. I highly recommend it. Ocarina of Time. Like I said, there's not much more to say about it that hasn't been said since it came out, but I play through this all the time. I already played through it twice this year. Specifically this cartridge and on Nintendo Switch Online. It's so good. That's going to be the end of my video. What are your top 10 Zelda games? I am curious. If yours is different, I'd like to hear about it. And if you would switch some things around, just tell me why, because I'm just curious. But yeah, this is Austin Hylian, and I am heading out, and thank you for watching.